In class, we are going to start with absolute value of a number. Absolute value of a number a is denoted by this expression. It is also named as mod of a. We all are familiar with. So we all also know that the absolute value of a number is always non-negative. We cannot say it is positive because in positive we do not discuss about the zero. But absolute value of number zero is zero as well. So it means that absolute value of a number is either positive or zero. So we have to say that it is always non-negative, being distance of that number from zero on the number line. So absolute value of a number is the distance of the number from zero on the number line, and being distance it is always non-negative. For example, absolute value of 2 will be equal to 2 because distance of 2 from 0 is 2 units. Similarly, absolute value of minus 3 is equal to 3 because distance of minus 3 from 0 is 3 units, and distance is always non-negative. That's why minus 3 mod will be equal to plus 3. Distance of 0 from 0 will be equal to 0. That's why absolute value of 0 is always equal to 0. So we cannot say it is positive, it is non-negative. Next definition is about the opposite numbers. Opposite numbers are the two numbers that are same in magnitude but are on the opposite sides of the zero. That is, if one is on the right hand side, the other one will be on left hand side. For example, 2 and minus 2, 4 and minus 4 are the opposite numbers. As far as 2 is concerned, we know that 2 is on 2 units from 0 and it is on the right hand side, while minus 2 is also on 2 units from 0 and it is on left hand side. So plus 2 and minus 2 are the two opposite numbers. Similarly, 4 is at the 4 units distance from 0, and minus 4 is also having distance of 4 units from 0, but it is on the left hand side. So plus 4 and minus 4 are the two opposite numbers. You can say that opposite numbers are also named as additive inverses, or the additive inverses are also opposite numbers, as we have discussed before. Next, we are going to start with the number theory, in which the first topic we are going to discuss is divisibility. So a number a, which is basically the dividend, is said to be divisible by a number b, which is also named as the divisor, if after performing the division, quotient is a whole number and remainder is zero. So these are the two basic conditions that must be fulfilled for divisibility, that the quotient must be a whole number as well as the remainder must be zero. Then we say that the divisor completely divides the dividend. For example, if I divide 14 with 2, we get 2 sevens of 14, remainder is 0, and quotient is a whole number, so that's why 14 is divisible by 2. But on the other side, if I divide 15 by 2, I get 2 sevens of 14. If the quotient is a whole number, then the remainder is not equal to 0, while on the other side, if I take completely divide it with 2, so 2 sevens of 14, then the decimal point is over here, I will put 0 at this point. So 2 fives are 10 and the remainder is 0, but the quotient is no more whole number now. So the two conditions must be fulfilled at the same time, that the quotient must be a whole number as well as the remainder must be 0. That's why in this case we will say that 15 is not divisible by 2. So this is how we can check out the divisibility of any two numbers. Next, we have even numbers. As we have discussed the divisibility, we are now able to discuss about the even numbers and odd numbers. So if a number is divisible by 2, it is named as even number, and if the number is not divisible by 2, it is named as odd number. So the numbers that are divisible by 2 are clearly 0, plus minus 2, plus minus 4, plus minus 6, and so on, while on the other side the odd numbers are plus minus 1, plus minus 3, plus minus 5, and so on. 0 itself is an even number because 0 is divisible by 2. In fact, 0 is divisible by every number. That's why it is also divisible by 2. Next, we have some divisibility tests, that if you want to check the divisibility of numbers by a certain number, then either to perform the complete division, we can also use the divisibility tests that are much easier as compared to the complete division method. For example, the divisibility test for 2 is this, that if we are having number divisible by 2 at the unit place, that if a number is divisible by 2 if the digit at the unit place is an even number, or if the digit at the unit place is divisible by 2. For example, we have 102. You can see that at the unit place we have 2, which is divisible by 2, so this number is divisible by 2. Similarly, 5234 is divisible by 2 because 4 is divisible by 2. So either rather than to completely solve this division by 2, it's better to apply the divisibility test. So this number is also divisible by 2 because 8 is divisible by 2. This number is also divisible by 2 because 6 is divisible by 2. So we just need to check the digit at the unit place. If that digit is divisible by 2, then the whole number will be divisible by 2. As we know that 4 is equal to 2 square, so the divisibility test of 4 and 2 are quite same. That for divisibility by 4, we will check the 2 digit at the unit place and 10 place. So if the 2 digit number generated by the digits at the unit and 10 place is divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. So if we are having a number 1024, we will check the digits at the unit at 10 place, which are 2 and 4. So if 24 is divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. Similarly, here we have 16 at the unit at 10 place, so this number is divisible by 2, divisible by 4, that's why the whole number is divisible by 4. On the other side, if the number digit at the unit at 10 place are 4 and 0, that is the number is 40, and 40 is divisible by 4, that's why the whole number is divisible by 4. Next we have the test for 3. A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of digits is divisible by 3. So whatever the number is given to us, we have to add the digits, and if the answer is divisible by 3, the number will be divisible by 3. So 33, for 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. 6 is divisible by 3, that's why 33 is divisible by 3. Similarly, 402, being 4 plus 2 plus 0 is 6. 6 is divisible by 3, that's why the number is divisible by 3. Similarly, 561, here the sum of digits is going to be 12, which is divisible by 3, that's why the whole number is divisible by 3. Similarly, these numbers are also divisible by 3. We also know that 9 is equal to 3 square, so the test for 3 and 9 are quite same, that if the number sum of digits is divisible by 9, then the number is divisible by 9, such as 333. Here you can see that the sum of digits is 9, that's why the number is divisible by 9. Similarly, 5625, the sum of digits in this case is going to be 18, which is divisible by 9, that's why the number is divisible by 9. So divisibility test plays quite an important role while we checking the divisibility by certain numbers. Next we have the number 6. So a number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 and 3. As we know that 6 can be written as 2 into 3. So there is no separate rule for 6. If the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, then the number is divisible by 6. For example, 231 is divisible by 3 because the sum of digits in this case is 6, which is divisible by 3, but it is not divisible by 2 as we are not having an even number at the unit place, so that's why it is not divisible by 6. But for 3012, the sum of digits is 6, which is divisible by 3, and similarly it is also divisible by 2 because the digit at the unit place is even, so that's why being divisible by both 2 and 3, it is divisible by 6 as well. Similarly, it holds for 62. Next text is talking about the number 5. So the number is divisible by 5 if the digit at the unit place is either 5 or 0, like 35, 40, 95, 105, 203, 50. All these numbers are divisible by 5. The next test is for 10, which is quite simple. If the digit at the unit place is 0, then the number is divisible by 0, otherwise it will not be divisible by 0. Next we have the definition about the factor of a number. Let a be a number, then the number b will be named as the factor of a if it divides a. So if b divides a, then b will be named as a factor of a. For example, the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20 because all these numbers can divide 20 easily. 20 is divisible by 1, 20 is divisible by 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. So these are the factors of 20. The next definition is about prime numbers. As we are able to talk about the factors, that's why we are able to discuss about the prime numbers as well. So prime numbers are the whole numbers the greater than 1 with only 2 factors. So the number that have only 2 factors is named as a prime number. For example, 5, 17 and 3. So these starts with 2, 2, 3, 5, 7 and so on. All these are the whole are the prime numbers. So when we say 2 is a prime number, but this is the only even number which is prime, because any other number like 4, 6, 8 and so on cannot be even number, because for their divisibility or for their factors we have 2 as well. So that's why the other numbers or the other even numbers cannot be prime, being also divisible by 2, but 2 is the only even prime number. Next we have composite number. Composite numbers are the whole numbers greater than 1 with more than 2 factors. So for the condition for prime numbers is that we must have only 2 factors, and for composite numbers we must have more than 2 factors. For example, 4, 6, 18, 15, these are all composite numbers. Now for 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number, because when we talk about the factors of 1, we have only one factor, which is 1. That's why 1 cannot be included in the prime numbers as well as in the composite numbers. Next, we have the definition from prime factorization. Prime means prime numbers, and factorization means to break out a number into smaller parts. So, prime factorization means to write a number in terms of its prime factors only. That if we multiply the prime factors, we will get the corresponding number. For example, the prime factorization for 25 is 5 into 5. The prime factorization for 20 is 2 into 2 into 5. So, here is the prime factorization of 20. We may write it as 4 into 5. We may write it as 20 into 1, but these are not the prime factorization, because for prime factorization we have to use only prime numbers. Next, we have an application of prime factorization, which is quite helpful to find out the highest common factor or the greatest common factor. So, highest common factor of two or more numbers is the highest number, which is the factor of all the corresponding numbers. So, we will check that how we can find out the highest common factor. But the question arises at this point that we always talk about the highest common factor or the greatest common factor. But what about the lowest common factor? So, you have to think about it and you have to answer me that what is meant by the lowest common factor, or why we do not need to find out the lowest common factor of any two numbers. Is it a well-defined number, or we are unable to find out the lowest common factor, or we do not need to find out the lowest common factor, being it to be a defined value for every pair of numbers? So you have to think about it and you have to answer me after watching this video. So there are some methods to find out the highest common factor. Let's suppose we are going to find out the highest common factor of 45 and 54. So in this first method, we will write down the factors of the number separately. Then we will find out the common factors, and then we will choose the highest common factor. So factors of 45 are 1, 3, 5, 9, 15 and 45. Here you can have a trick in order to avoid any mistake, that 5 into 9 is 14, 3 into 15 is 14, so 1 into 45 is 14. So we cannot miss any number. We have to make the pair so that the answer is coming over with. So for example, for 54 we have the factors 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18, 27 and 54. So we can easily go up to 9, but after that we can find out the numbers for their correspondence. For example, 9 into for 54 we have write down all the factors. Here you can see 54 into 1 is 54, 27 into 2 is 54, 6 into 9 is 54, 3 into 18 is 54. So now we will find out the common factors. Here you can see the common factors are 1, 3 and 9. So the highest common factor is 9. But this method is quite uneasy, or it could be a little bit difficult, that if we miss any single digit or any single factor, it could create a problem finding out the solution. So it's better to use the other methods. Now we have the second method in which we are using the prime factorization. So in this method we will write down the prime factorization of 45 and 54. So here is a prime factorization of 45 and here is a prime factorization of 54. So we have write down over here. Now in the next step we will find out the common number. So here you can see that the 3 is common and this 3 is common, and for highest common factor we are just simply multiplying the common number. So 3 from here and 3 from here, 3 into 3 is 9. We are not multiplying this 3 with this 3, we are simply multiplying the common numbers once. So 1 3 from here, 1 3 from here, 3 into 3 is 9, which is the highest common factor of 45 and 54. Next we have the third method that we normally use, or we all are familiar with, that if we want to find out the LCM of any two numbers, we simply perform the prime factorization simultaneously. So here you can see that we are inserting 45 and 54, or we are taking the LCM of 45 and 54. So here you are taking 3, we are starting with the 3. So why we cannot start with 2? Because 2 cannot divide 45, so we have to choose only common numbers that are going to divide both numbers. So 3 into 15 is 45, 3 into 18 is 54. Next again you can see that both numbers are divisible by 3. So 3 5 is 15, 3 6 is 18. Now there is no common factor between 5 and 6, so we are just simply multiplying these two numbers. So 3 into 3 is going to be 9. While for the LCM we do not need to check that if a number is dividing both or not. If 2 is dividing only 54, so we can write it out down in the LCM. But for HCF we are not expected to do this, or we cannot do this. We have to use only those prime numbers that can divide both numbers at the same time. So that's why HCF in this case is going to be 3 into 3 9. Now you have to perform the exercise on page number 6, exercise 1 on page number 6, so that you can practice the HCF. Thank you.